We spend most of our lives staring up at the finish line. We are told from a very early age that a successful life is one defined by massive, final achievements. We measure the quality of a person's existence by how high they climb. Earning unspendable wealth or dominating a fiercely competitive field, these become the standards of potential. When Michael Jordan secured his 6 NBA rings, it cemented him as the ultimate conqueror. It's the perfect image of a battle won. We absorb a very specific promise from these images. Psychologists call it the arrival fallacy, the belief that once we reach the peak, we will find a permanent state of happiness. But the human brain is not wired to sustain that high. The rush of hitting a milestone evaporates almost immediately. Success often leaves a vacuum. The expected joy is quickly replaced by a quiet emptiness and a loss of direction. Conquering one peak rarely ends the journey. Reaching the top usually just clears the clouds to reveal another, even larger mountain directly in your path. Tying contentment to the next milestone creates a dangerous mechanism. You trap yourself in a state where the present moment is never good enough, always sacrificed for a future reward. By defining success as a single point at the top, we guarantee that the vast majority of our lives will be spent in dissatisfaction. That psychological trap feels like a symptom of modern culture, but the Greeks identified it thousands of years ago. They told the story of King Sisyphus. As punishment for his hubris, the god Zeus condemned him to a sentence of infinite repetition. The mechanics were simple but grueling. Sisyphus was forced to push a heavy boulder up the side of a steep mountain. The weight of the punishment was in the physics. Every single time he neared the top, the boulder would slip from his grasp and roll all the way back to the valley floor. This diagram shows the exact architecture of his punishment. It illustrates an inescapable loop of striving, failing, and resetting forever. The curse removes the possibility of a finished product. Each step up is rendered pointless by the reset, stripping the labor of any external goal. Look closely at your own schedule, and the myth stops looking like ancient history. We are living out the exact same cycle. That immovable boulder is our daily labor. It represents our ambition, the long hours at the office, and the constant friction of trying to build a career. And the boulder rolling back down the hill? That is the promotion that immediately loses its shine, or the revenue goal that instantly gets replaced by a higher quota. We push the rock, watch it fall, and march right back down to push it up again. We participate in the loop, constantly expecting a different emotional result. Unless we change our perspective, our daily existence mirrors that ancient curse, a cycle of endless exhaustion with no permanent finish line. French philosopher Albert Camus imagined a detail that breaks the entire tragedy. As Sisyphus walks back down the mountain to retrieve his rock, he wears a defiant smile. It seems impossible. A man trapped in an eternity of back-breaking labor should be weeping. Why would he experience joy? He realizes that the mountain has no plan for him, and Zeus is no longer watching to see him suffer. There is no external score being kept, and no reward waiting for him at the top. This lack of a pre-written purpose is what grants him freedom. Because there is no correct way to feel about the mountain, Sisyphus is no longer a victim of the god's design. He becomes the master of his own experience by choosing to find interest in the texture of the stone and the rhythm of the climb. You can apply that same rebellion to your own endless mountains. Strip away the expectation of a final, lasting victory. Detach your self-worth from the promotions, the bank balances, and the trophies you thought would complete you. Define success by the deliberate, daily effort of pushing your boulder. Find satisfaction in the act of working, rather than the result. When you take psychological ownership of the daily struggle, the dynamic flips. The friction that once felt like a curse becomes the primary engine of your purpose. Fulfillment arrives the moment you abandon the illusion of the peak. Stop waiting for the summit and choose to love the relentless climb.